There's a saying in radio, talent isn't starting a topic, it's knowing when to end it. Same could be said for our lifestyle of accumulating personal belongings. It's easy to start collecting. The skill is knowing when to stop. No one knows that better than Janine Bryant of Changing Spaces SRS. Good morning, Janine.
Good morning, Dale.
I hear it on the radio all the time. A very talented jock is on there talking about a bit, doing something, and 5 minutes ago they should have stopped. It would have been a better bit had they stopped.
I love that.
5 minutes ago. Welcome back, by the way.
Thank you.
We're back to where we like to be, and that's face-to-face here for Easy Rightsizing.
Yeah.
Go to easyrightsizing.com for right-sizing tips, videos, and resources. There's also a book that we'll get to as well. Janine has written a step-by-step guide to your right-sizing journey for older adults and their loved ones. Mm-hmm. Life is hard enough. Don't let your stuff get in the way. How's that for a theme of the day?
Isn't that true? Mm-hmm. Theme for the year, right? Mm-hmm. For 2020, life is hard. And, you know, we've been doing this 12 years now at Changing Spaces SRS, helping seniors downsize out of a larger home, move to a smaller home. Lots of times they're moving to a retirement community. Lots of times our clients are folks in their 70s, 80s, 90s. And if there's anything that I've learned over the last 12 years is that growing old is not for the faint of heart. Right? I have heard that time and time again from our clients. However, as the saying goes, it's better than the alternative. Right? And it is, I truly believe that growing old is a privilege that is denied to a lot of folks. So while it's a privilege, growing old is still difficult. And life at any age can be hard. And so one of the things that I see so often is that people allow their stuff, their possessions, to be kind of an anchor or a weight on their shoulders, and it really weighs them down and holds them back. And now this applies to people and their stuff at any age. I think middle-aged people, young people, and older folks, they tend to be weighed down by their stuff. And so my message to all of our listeners this morning, and something to really consider, is your stuff making your life harder? And I think for a lot of us, it is. It really is.
So knowing when to stop.
That's
knowing when to
right.
stop collecting and when to start purging.
That's right. And sometimes, you know, some people are collectors. Some of us are just shoppers, right? I'm not a collector. And I always say, if you had my job, you wouldn't be a collector either. However, I am a shopper, right? I'm a woman living in America in the year 2020. It's easy. You can just click a button on your smartphone and get things delivered right to your door. There's a time when it's important to stop collecting and to start letting some of that stuff go. This topic, it reminds me of a woman that I visited with recently who met me at the door. I do free in-home consultations for anyone who's interested in our services, and I've continued to do them throughout the pandemic. I come all masked up, or we got these face shields recently so I can go and visit folks safely. But she met me at the door, and you could just see this heavy weight on her shoulders. And as we sat down at the kitchen table, as we so often do, to just start the process of them telling me about their life and their situation, she said to me with a sigh, "We should have moved a year ago." And that hurt my heart, because then she proceeded to tell me about all of the health challenges that she and her husband have had over the last year. And she was just bemoaning the fact that they should have moved a year ago when their name came up at the retirement community that they were considering, and they had an apartment available for them, and they thought, I'm just not ready yet. Well, now, 12 months later, they were more than ready. But now they had suffered so many physical ailments and illnesses that right-sizing was going to be even harder than it would have been a year ago. And that's also a message that I want to send out to all of our listeners, is that, you know, even though going through this right-sizing process can be challenging, the longer you put it off, the more stuff you're going to have and the less energy with which you're going to have with which to deal with it, right? And so it's only going to get harder the longer you put it off, in a year, 6 months, or a year, or 2 years, or 5 years. So don't wait, be proactive about this. So, I mean, there's so many factors to this right-sizing process. I mean, sometimes people do it voluntarily. They downsize because they think, yep, I'm ready to let go of my excess and I'm ready to live a simpler life. Other times people are going through this downsizing process because they don't have a choice. Physically, they cannot stay in their home any longer. Maybe their doctor is telling them it's time to move, that maybe they themselves realize this is not working. Maybe a spouse has recently passed away and that spouse was the one kind of keeping them going at home. I know a lot of you listeners out there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Once you're kind of leaning on each other, and then once maybe one spouse gets really ill, ends up in the hospital or passes away, then it becomes apparent that the other spouse cannot live in that home on their own. And so I think lots of times when that move comes to sort of an emergency point where it has to happen quick, then you're not able to go through that right-sizing process with a lot of thoughtfulness or a lot of intentionality. You're just kind of doing it quickly and harried, and everyone's stressed out, and it's not going to be a positive transition. So the earlier you can do it, the better. Again, another thing I always say is that if you have a spouse who's still living, to do it together rather than waiting until one of them has passed away and then you have to do it on your own. Boy, we've worked with a lot of clients who have had to move on their own, and it would have been so much easier for them had they been able to do it with their spouse.
So how do you come back to a statement like that, Janine? You met the woman at the door, you're at the kitchen table, and you can see the weight should have moved a year ago. Your skill over a dozen years has obviously taught you how to handle that.
We just meet them with a whole lot of compassion.
Yeah.
And I also meet them with, I assure them that, you know, they are in a situation that a lot of people find themselves in. They're not the only ones. And that's the good thing about Changing Spaces SRS, our services, is that we can make the transition as seamless as possible. So I always say our services are designed so that you just have to sit and point. So you get to make the decisions, but we do all the work. And quite frankly, if you don't want to make the decisions, we'll make those too. So we just moved a couple weeks ago, we moved a fellow. He is 99 and a half years old. He lived where in his current place for over 50 years, and he was downsizing to one of the retirement communities. And I always say single men, they're the easiest ones to move because they don't have a lot of opinions about, what art do you want to take? Oh, whatever, he doesn't care. So then our gals will help them, you know, let's put something together that looks nice and that, you know, represents your home that you're leaving. And so really our services are designed to take the burden off of those folks completely. And so then I feel great that we're able to help folks who are in that position, who have waited too long to move and who are now just need to get over this hump. But when I think about how I want to go through that process when it's my time, I don't want to wait that long. I want to be proactive, and I want to do it before it's a burden, and I want to be thoughtful and involved in the process rather than, you know, just hiring someone else to do it. Although we are a great option, certainly. But if I can keep our client in the driver's seat, that's always my first option. Then they get to make those decisions instead of us making them for them.
People are hearing us for the first time. We always have good listeners coming in. Explain what you do with stuff. The stuff that the single man artwork doesn't really care, or all those woodworking tools. What do you do with stuff?
Yeah, so the first thing we always do is we help them decide, what am I keeping, what am I letting go of? And then we get that stuff out, we help them move and transition and get unpacked and settled in the new place. And then we turn our attention back to the old house, and whatever is left, we can help them let go of. Compassionately find new homes for those items. So one of the ways we do that is by organizing and running an estate sale. That is, it's like a tag sale. It's in the home. Shoppers come in the door. Everything has a price tag on it, and we sell anything and everything. A second way we've developed in the last year due to COVID is online auctions. That's another option for folks. So we can come in, we take photos, we write descriptions, we take measurements of all the things in the home, and then we put it up on our website, and we have over 3,000 registered bidders on our online auctions, and they bid on it, and then we coordinate the pickup of those auction items. There are other ways also to let go of that stuff. There's certainly charity donations here in town, and we've got lots of great resources that we can hook our clients up with for donating stuff to charity. There are consignment shops. You can have a traditional auction if you want to. There's all kinds of different ways you can let go of your stuff, and we will walk you through that step by step to help make it as easy as possible.
And if you are new to our conversation here, Easy Right Sizing, you will soon find out that you even, speaking of measurements, you take measurements of things.
We do.
Maybe the retirement community can't handle a queen-size bed.
Right.
It can only handle a full.
Right,
Well,
absolutely.
You got to do something with that queen-size bed. So
That's
you take
right.
measurements of dressers and furniture.
That's right. Yep. We'll help them
closets.
figure out what furniture will fit in the new space. And, most of the time, just for anyone who had a little heart attack when Dale just said that, most of the time the bedrooms will accommodate a queen-size bed. Maybe not a king-size bed. It just kind of depends on the apartment. So we'll walk you through all of that. Don't worry.
Shows you what I know or don't know. Got a lot to learn.
Yeah.
Easy Right Sizing, an excellent place to go is easyrightsizing.com for tips, videos, and resources. I mentioned the book. Where can people get your handy book, Janine?
That's right. It's available on Amazon. You just search for Ready to Right Size, and you can have it delivered right to your front porch.
And Janine wants to not only talk to you every Sunday morning, but you are teaching your skill set.
I am.
too.
You can come and be a part of our first ever Easy Right Sizing class. It's a class I'm teaching through SCC, Continuing Education. And it's going to meet 3 weeks, 3 Monday nights in a row from 6 to 8 p.m. Monday night on September 21st, September 28th, and October 5th. The cost is $75. The textbook we're going to be using is, you guessed it, Ready to Right Size, and we're going to be walking through the right sizing process as it pertains to you and your situation. Now, there's a limit of 25 students that can be registered for the class, so go ahead and register now, and you can do that by calling SCC, and I'm going to give you the phone number. It's 402-437-2700. That's 437-2700. You just give them a call, tell them you want to register for the Easy Right Sizing class, and they'll get you all hooked up.
How can people get your book?
Going on Amazon and searching for Ready to Right Size, and it can be delivered right to you. You can also give us a call at Changing Spaces SRS, and we can help get you a copy as well. The book is $12.95, and it's worth every penny if you are planning a move or need to help a loved one right size or empty out a home.
And I know you've heard this before, but it's just the right size.
Most books are too long. That's what I think.
Too thick, too bulky.
You cut out the clutter, and boy, this is just the gem. I've really whittled it down to my best advice for going through the right sizing process.
So a couple of different web addresses, changingspacessrs.com/auctions, where they can check your online auction.
Yes.
And also then you can get a hold of tips and videos and resources and other helpful hints at easyrightsizing.com. And then, of course, there's Easy Right Sizing here on KFOR every Sunday morning. Thanks, Janine.
Thank you, Dale.